Your Working World is proudly brought to you by Services SETA, Sector Education and Training Authority, ensuring that the skill needs for every sector of the South African economy are identified and that training is available to provide for these skill needs.
Welcome to Your Working World, the series that brings you the essential information you need to help you decide which career is right for you and how to get a job in that particular field. To get us started on today's topic, which is project management and the project management industry, I'm joined in studio by Mr. Graham Joyce, General Manager of the Bateman's Modular Division. Graham, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Project management, it's a very big field.
Absolutely.
What does a project manager do?
We manage resources.
Okay.
Time, money, and people.
Okay. And you really manage the deployment of those resources, and you control the work productivity, don't you?
Absolutely.
Do you ever get your hands dirty?
From time to time, you need to get your hands dirty.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you need to be seen to be involved with the whole project.
You're really like a one-stop shop as a project manager, aren't you? Because at the end of the day, the client sees you as the ambassador for Bateman's on the project. He holds you accountable, irrespective of what thousands of people possibly under you are doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you have to be a people's person.
100%. 100%.
How did you get started?
I studied mechanical engineering, and my father was involved in building power plants for Eskom back in the 80s. Okay. And obviously that was an extremely exciting period in terms of the construction industry and especially project management. And obviously it certainly rubbed off on me.
But here's the question, and I suppose the question about most of these types of professions is, can you go into project management directly from school, or do you need some other kind of worldly experience first?
I believe you need to spend quite a bit of time understanding an industry and really developing your people skills.
I suppose, and this is another question I was going to ask you a little later on in the interview, but there's this thing called generic project management, and then we know that there are specific project managers per industry. Is it possible to be a generic project manager?
I believe it is possible to be a generic project manager, but to be exceptional in your field, you need to have the background of the industry in which you're working.
But your company, Bateman's, for example, is a generic project management company. I mean, you can have an IT company coming to you one day and a construction company coming to you another day and saying, we need a particular project intervention. So is it that Bateman's brokers to specific subject matter experts or uses the same people on all projects?
We are a lot more specific. We actually focus on the minerals side. So we would look specifically at the minerals industry.
Okay.
And
so you specialize as a company.
Exactly.
But there are companies which are generic. I mean, I suppose what my question is to you really is, even if a company is generic, does it make of project managers silos of specialists?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I believe it is. There is a leaning towards the minerals industry. There's a leaning towards the IT industry.
Okay.
I don't think
so you end up becoming a specialist.
Yes.
And I suppose that's the message that I'm really trying to get to the learners out there, is that even though you want to go into project management, it's a huge field. You have to decide where you want to specialize, because you're not going to be able to cover every field of project management.
Certainly not. Certainly not.
Is your employer a decent employer?
Very much
Do
so.
they treat you well?
Yep. I think the measure of that is, do you enjoy your working environment?
Right.
Your employee creates your working environment.
Final question. Your child comes to you and says, I want to get into project management. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
If you're a people's person, yes.
It's a rewarding profession.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Your Working World was proudly brought to you by Services CETA, Sector Education and Training Authority, ensuring that the skill needs for every sector of the South African economy are identified and that training is available to provide for these skill needs.